if you're trying to do something that is out of your comfort zone, what is gonna now happen is you gonna now have these moments where you really mess up, and it is tempted in those moments to say like, okay, I'm never gonna do this again. There is no way I can actually do this thing I want to do because I just messed up so bad. This is not going to work out. You got to fight against that urge. You got to fight against that voice, because that is what separates people who are successful from the ones that are you and Tay. Hey guys, it's me. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about why you should never aim for perfection. If you're new here, welcome. Come for the productivity tips and stay for the mental health and wellness content. Let's get into it. So I think we can all agree that aiming for perfection is a good goal, right? It sounds nice to want to be perfect, but there is a reason why they say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Now, I do want to necessarily agree with that statement entirely, because I do think that having good intentions is important, and that is a good starting point. However, I do understand the idea behind it. So let me explain. I feel that when people go through life with this mindset of like, I want everything to be perfect, I want things to be done a certain way, and if they not done it, it's not good enough, or it's not worth it. What ends up happening is they end up actually accomplishing less than they would have if they just kind of went in blind and just tried and didn't care about whether or not it was perfect. Because what ends up happening is when you're trying to go for perfection, you end up overthinking things and overanalyzing things and second-guessing yourself, and you just get stuck. You get stuck in the weeds, and you forget about the bigger picture. And sometimes I think that aiming for perfection is actually the worst thing that you could do, because it prevents you from taking action at all. So instead of aiming for perfection, what you should aim for is consistency. Consistency is key in everything that you do. It is better to be consistent than to be perfect. Here's why. First of all, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much effort you put into something, there's always going to be room for improvement. So why even bother trying to be perfect when you're just setting yourself up for failure? Secondly, by aiming for consistency, you remove the pressure of having to be perfect all the time. And when you remove the pressure, you open yourself up to actually enjoying what you're doing. You're able to be more present and mindful in the moment and just enjoy it for what it is. And I think that's really important, because if you're constantly striving for perfection, you're never going to be happy with what you have. You're always going to feel like there's something more that you could be doing. There's something else you could be trying. And while I do think that that's true to an extent, I also think that there is a time and a place for everything. And if you're constantly feeling like there's something more that you could be doing, then you probably not even doing what you're redoing right now to the best of your ability. You're not putting in 100% effort because you're holding yourself back because you're afraid of not being perfect. Thirdly, aiming for consistency allows you to learn from your mistakes. See, when you're trying to be perfect, you're not going to make any mistakes, right? But in reality, everybody makes mistakes. We're human. That's what we do. We mess up. And when we mess up, we need to be able to learn from it and move on. If you're constantly striving for perfection, then you're never gone. Nah. Learn from your mistakes, because you're too busy beating yourself up over them. So, allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to mess up, because that's how you learn and grow as a person. So how do you actually practice consistency? Well, first of all, you need to set realistic goals for yourself. Don't set yourself up for failure by setting goals that are too high. Start small and work your way up. For example, if you want to start a YouTube channel, don't set the goal to get 1 million subscribers in your first year. That's just not realistic, and you're probably not going to achieve that. Instead, set the goal to post 1 video per week for the next month. Once you've achieved that goal, then you can reevaluate and set a new goal for the next month. The key is to just keep moving forward. Keep going. even when it's difficult. Keep going, even when you don't feel like it. Just keep moving forward, and eventually you will achieve your goals. Next, you need to find a support system. This is so important. Find people who believe in you, who support you, and who will be there for you when you inevitably mess up. We all need a support system. We all need people that we can rely on. So find those people and lean on them when times get tough. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It shows that you're not afraid to reach out and ask for what you need. And that takes a lot of courage. And lastly, you need to forgive yourself. This is probably the most important thing. Forgive yourself for your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. We're human. It's what we do. We mess up. We say the wrong thing. We do things. We regret. We hurt people. And when we do these things, we need to be able to forgive ourselves and move on. Holding on to guilt and shame is only going to hurt us in the long run. It's going to eat away at us. It's going to make us feel bad about ourselves. And we don't need that in our lives. We're already dealing with enough negativity from the outside. We don't need to bring that on ourselves as well. So forgive yourself. Let go of the guilt and shame and move on. So remember, guys, aiming for perfection is not the best strategy. Instead, aim for consistency. It's better to be consistent than to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. So don't beat yourself up when you make mistakes. Everyone messes up. It's what we do. Learn from your mistakes and move on. Ask for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for support. We all need support. We all need people that we can lean on. And forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for your mistakes and move on. Holding on to guilt and shame is only going to hurt us in the long run. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you have any other tips or advice on this topic, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Okay, so I want you to imagine this scenario with me. You're sitting in front of your computer. You're working on this project that's really important to you. You've been working on it for a while, and you're really proud of the progress that you've made. But now it is time to send it off to your boss or your client, and you're really nervous about their feedback. What if they don't like it? What if they think it's not good enough? What if they want changes? You start to overanalyze every little detail, and you start to worry about all the things that could go wrong. You spend hours revising and editing and making changes, and you still go in get it to be perfect. In fact, it actually gets worse. You change too many things. You add too much, and it loses its original meaning. You lose sight of the big picture, and you forget why you started this in the first place. This is what happens when you're trying to be perfect. You get stuck in the details. You overanalyze things, and you forget about the bigger picture. You put so much pressure on yourself to get it right that you actually end up getting it wrong. Now imagine a different scenario. You're sitting in front of your computer and you're working on that same project. But this time, you're not worried about what your boss or your client thinks. You're not worried about being perfect. You just want to get it done. You focus on the task at hand and you work until you finish. When you're done, you take a step back and you look at what you've created. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And that's all that matters. You hit send, and you move on to your next project. This is what happened when you're focused on consistency, when you focused on the process rather than the outcome. See, the truth is that there is no such thing as a perfect project, a perfect presentation, a perfect piece of writing. There is what you want it to be, and good enough is perfect. So let me ask you a question. Are you aiming for perfection? Or are you aiming for consistency? Let me know in the comments below.